Welcome, busy gamers. Today we're going to be talking about Season, a letter to the future. What's good, what's bad, and that all-important question, is it worth your time? If you've joined me for another one of these worth your time videos in the past, please feel free to go ahead and skip straight to the section you're most interested in, and if not, let us all head straight into the overview. This game was developed and published by Scavengers Studio. It was released in January of 2023, and in the game you take the role of Estelle, a young woman who grows up in a remote village that she has never left, nor has anyone around her. However, recently a close friend of hers had a vision that the season would be coming to an end. Because of this, Estelle decides to leave her small village to document what she can of the outside world before that change occurs. The story begins by saying bye to your mother before setting off alone into a beautiful but mysteriously unpopulated world. You primarily engage with the world through travel, either by walking or riding your bike, and documenting what you see, hear, and think along the way. To do so, you're going to be finding vistas and locations to draw, recording the sounds of animals, gathering small souvenirs, or taking pictures. Each of these methods have their own unique mechanic, and the memories you gather are stored into a scrapbook, which you can design and organize to fit your own personal aesthetic. Each section of this journal will complete, shall we say, once a certain number of memories has been placed. But completing a section can mean different things for different people, as it leaves much of that choice up to you. As you continue your journey, you're going to be learning about the culture and the traditions of the world you live in beyond your village. Through this journey, you're posed with several questions. What is this season? Why is this season ending? And what will the end of this season mean? At the time of this review, I played Season, a Letter to the Future for about 6.5 hours. It's a short game, and to keep away from spoilers, I don't want to go into detail about where that puts me, but I've completed past the Ting Valley, which is where the meat of the game before its resolution takes place. I have achieved at least some of that resolution. So what's good about Season? It's a relaxing game. It's calm and it's aesthetically quite beautiful. While I didn't always resonate with the character modeling, the environment and the scenery was clearly a focus here. The art style was unique, and around each corner, up each side trail, and off the beaten path were just exceptional views that, with a wide range of themes, kind of resonated. There were sunsets, there were flower fields, there were ruins, and the calm dystopian beauty of a lake filled with the skeletons of old machines. I was constantly impressed that the game actually made me interested in taking pictures and looking around for more than just the next item to interact with. I would line up my shots, or take shots with the camera, or even just find unique sounds to record instead of just taking a picture of the first thing that I saw. I also thought the scrapbook was oddly pleasing to design and cathartic to be able to make 100% my own with little to no restriction, other than a few of the story pages that required me to document a specific location, sound, or event, and it was already sketched in there for me. You could just place down a few sounds and pictures that are all overlapping. You could spend 20 minutes carefully designing each page, rotating and resizing decorations, and adding stamps and sketches. Basically, it allows you to get out of it what you want, and it doesn't force you to invest more into it if you aren't so inclined. So it allows you to engage as much or as little as you want. I honestly found this pretty refreshing because most games are going to be forcing me to complete challenges and mini games that might really not be germane to the story or core game at all. I also want to mention that I felt like Season did do a great job at reminding me that even the little things can be meaningful and important. There were several sequences that started immediately with saying goodbye to your mother, in which they went over memories and items from the past. They discussed why they mattered and why they were important to them, why usually simple things. And I must admit, thinking about this type of memory in the context of my own child resonated with me. It reminded me how special those moments truly are and how painful it would be for me to lose them. So what is bad about Season? For me, its core flaw here is that the mystery just isn't there. Throughout the game, it introduces you to mysteries regarding the seasons illness related to your memories and what your future holds, not to mention minor mysteries involving the Gray Hands and their behavior. Unfortunately, most of these things don't really resolve. They remain largely unanswered, and Estelle never really seems to question anyone's motives. She muses on how the future might be, and there's an ending, but the premise that a short one-day journey from an isolated village can provide great and lasting knowledge for the future is pretty tenuous to begin with, and the game just never really follows through with a concrete delivery. The game constantly throws out statements that I believe were intended to be profound, illustrative, and wise, and occasionally it lands. But as the game goes on, a lot of these statements really begin to wear on you, and the veneer fades, and it makes them feel vague and hollow as platitudes. The game is also just kind of depressing, with very little areas of outright hope or light provided. From the beginning, it requires you to take or sacrifice your mother's memories for protection, and then it throws you into a world in which you never see more than 10 people. It also delves into the sickness of the mind and time sickness that closely parallels depression, though in this world the afflictions are indeed magical or spiritual in nature. I'll admit that often good storytelling will pull at your heart, but there just isn't any balance here. The last item I'm going to point out in the negatives is small, but controlling the bike and at times even walking was difficult due to how often you would collide with obstacles that didn't always make sense. Walking was often too slow, but biking was often too fast, and stopping the bike was a process. Though I admit the use of the adaptive triggers for pedaling was a pretty nice tactile and immersive choice that I enjoyed to get the bike going. Now onto the channel focus. How does Season treat your time? The game's short, and it does a good job of easing you into the story with several linear areas to start out the game. By nature, it's laid back, it's calm, and therefore it doesn't really demand that you play outside of your own desired pace. And it has a very accessible completion time of around 6 hours. You could likely play the game faster, but you would be losing most of the experience, and some will wander areas of the game for 8 or more hours. Overall, this game is meditative and relaxing, but it's somber. So let's move on to the final scores. Overall, I gave this game a 5. It's beautiful, it's earnest and heartfelt, but unfortunately I was left disappointed and frustrated by the game overall. It continuously pulled me in with mystery just to yank the rug out from under me and provide me with absolutely no resolution. All the while, it delivered wisdom that often came off as if they believed they were the smartest and most insightful person in the room, but in actuality only came from a tiny little village they had never before left. The Ephemeral Efficiency score here on this one will be a 7. It's short, it's well guided, and this is a calming game intended to be relaxing and thought-provoking. For players looking for this, it will play well and efficiently fit in with their schedule and time. That concludes my review of Season, A Letter to the Future. I hope you all enjoyed this content. If you have feedback for me, if you have questions or concerns or anything of that nature, please drop me a comment. And if you liked it, hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. Until next time, enjoy gaming.